Welcome back to the cEDH podcast. I'm Blake.
And I'm Chase, and today we're going to be ranking the different color combinations in cEDH.
So as you can tell, we have a different setup today because we decided we were going to be like everybody else and do tier lists.
Yeah, again. But we're going to be doing things a little bit different this time. So today we're focusing on the different color pairings, and we're going to be ranking these, I think, F through S, S being the best, F being dog shit ranking. But we're not just going to go through the color pairs. We're going to start off with the monocolor stuff, then two color, so guilds, we're going to do the shards, the wedges, the four color pairs, and then finally finish it all out with the 5 color combination.
So then should we leave it S through F, or should we have like our own like names for stuff? Like just F is dog shit.
I think let's leave it the way it is right now, and if we seem to keep changing it throughout the episode, then we're just going to go with it.
Fuck it.
Okay. All right, here we go.
All right. So what are we going to start with? Do you want to start with colorless?
Yeah, let's start with colorless. That's the first one we have on this, and we're using the tier maker website for this. So colorless is the first one on our list.
Okay. So what are your opinions on colorless?
Oh man, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good in cEDH. So
see, I'm torn on this because like there have actually been colorless decks to win tournaments, just not very.
Yeah,
good.
but like how often?
Not never.
Never.
Like,
so
well, not never, but not
like
close to never.
There's been like the Urza's Battlethopter deck, and then fucking
Liberator.
Yeah, that one. Like, there's been that, and then like I know that people are like speculating on this new colorless commander out of the Final Fantasy set. I don't even remember the name of it. That's how much we've been paying attention to the set, but I don't know shit about the game. So
the one that like makes lands tap for double.
Yeah, that one.
That one seems pretty good.
That would be sick,
like
but
5 mana though.
I know, but we're in colorless for that, and we're in colorless right now for this. So I mean, if we're looking at this realistically, colorless does not have a great track record compared to even our monocolored stuff.
Yeah, I guess F.
I think it's an F. Yeah, I think it's an F.
Yeah, I'd say F. Okay. And with that, we draw first blood.
All right, we're moving on. So now we are in the monocolored colors, starting us off. So the first one is white. Where do you think we're at on this one?
I still think this is dog shit.
But is it at least better than colorless?
When's the last time you've seen a white deck? Not even just win, but like place on a tournament.
Like just mono white.
Yeah. I've seen a colorless deck win a tournament. I don't think I've seen a mono white deck top 16 a tournament in over 2 years.
Probably not. No, I'd probably say it is also an F tier color. Like even as we move on to some of our other color pairings, it's like we've talked about in previous videos. White is kind of the splash for like all the silence effects and like some things like Swords to Plowshare. But as far as a standalone color goes, I think it's still in the F.
I take that back. There was an Oswald Fiddlebender deck that I saw that topped an event, but I have seen a colorless deck win an event. I have not seen a mono white deck win an event since. Like,
so does that mean we're ranking white lower than colorless right now?
I would be willing to do it.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so white is F tier worse than colorless at the moment.
That's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
dude.
that's. Oh man, tell us how much you like white commanders. So, our next color that we got, now this one I think is going to be a little bit controversial, but we have mono blue.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where this should go because mono blue. Man, it's seen better days.
Yeah.
I think that right now it has an opportunity to do well, but I mean, it's a support color. If anything, it's not really a, hey, I'm going to win the game color. I feel like it's just a,
well, hold on. Like you say that, but then we're thinking like, if we are thinking support stuff like Ristics, Fish, your counter packages, like things like that. But I mean, you can't do demonic consultation without the Thassa's Oracle. And so like...
But can you do Thassa's Oracle in mono blue? I mean, you probably could.
Yeah.
But like, is it good?
and I guess that's where a little bit of the debate is. I think that because most of the monocolor blue decks that we're looking at right now, I feel like is like it's still Urza, and then like even in our local meta, we have someone that's running more of the polymorph like stacks build of it, but there's other builds of it that actually utilize Thassa's, Labman, and Jace all within the build to get there and get the win. So I mean that's still fine. There's the mono blue Teferi that like stacks out with knowledge pool and things like that, and I still think it runs like a Thassa's package even within it. So I mean, and even listing those two other ones with Labman and Jace Wielder of Mysteries, like it's not just Thassa's. Like they're probably tripling down on all three of those type of effects within mono blue.
While I do agree with you, I would rather play any of the other remaining monocolors before I would play mono blue.
Well, I'm not going to rank probably any of these like super, super high. I feel like if anything, like mono blue on its own, I'm going to put it in B. I'm going to put it in B tier.
B tier?
B tier, yeah.
Okay, now this is where we completely diverge. I was going to say F tier.
You're going to say F tier?
I think it's trash. No. I think if you look at any other combo, when you add blue to a deck, I think it gets so good. Right now, mono blue, trash. I think it's so bad. We can find a way to split the middle if we need to, but I mean, we can continue to. This is fun. I'm glad we finally disagree. Yeah.
What do you mean you finally disagree? We disagree on some things, but I don't know. I think
if Tolarian Academy was unbanned.
Oh my god!
No, I'm joking.
I don't know. For me, I think I raise it up into the B just because the argument that like blue is arguably like the best color in the game itself.
I 100% agree with you that I think it's the best color, but on its own, I think finding ways to finish the game. There is like one deck that I can think of, obviously with like Urza. I haven't seen the Teferi deck in a hot minute.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that as a color, it's great.
There's another mono blue one that I can't think of off the top of my head though, what it was. But yeah, I think it's either, if we're going to meet in the middle with this, are you willing to say a C minus?
A C minus.
You want to say a C minus or a D plus?
I'll give you. Man, I guess I was being a little bit too harsh because there are decks that I just. Fuck. I'll give you C minus.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
C minus.
So blue is currently the worst C tier deck we have right now.
Oh man. All right. So we're moving on. Now we are in mono black.
I mean, this color is not too hot either, but it's got one just powerhouse.
Are you talking about Kirk?
Pretty much. That's the only one that's like powerhouse power. I mean, there are obviously other options, but like in the top, I don't think I can think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else.
I mean, you have like Yawgmoths, right? Like
yeah, but I mean,
the Yawgmoths.
That's pretty much it. I mean, if people are still out there trying to, I have not heard anyone aside from where we recorded on it, and maybe a few other people whenever the unbans came up, talk about braids. I don't think that's going to be a deck anytime soon at the moment. So like, that's mono black. What else we got? Like,
I know there was the
Turgid.
Well, Turgid was a thing for a bit,
but it's not really cEDH.
No. Well, I mean, I have seen cEDH Turgid builds. This is actually really silly, but I did watch a Turgid deck almost squeak out a win one time because somebody was actually, this was on the professor's channel, but he actually had cEDH gameplay on there, and it was, they had Cam on there. It was when he was playing Rog Ikra.
Okay.
And there was, what is his name? I don't know why I'm just totally drawing. I drew a total blank. Higher. Higher.
I think so.
He was playing a mono black Turgid deck, and the win that Cam was going for was the Witherbloom Apprentice Chain of Smog. Every time he was pitching stuff, the Turgid player got his permanents. And so they ended up getting his Necropotence, and then they did some like crazy shenanigans. They almost got there. Like they almost stole the win. It was pretty impressive.
But how often are you going to see that?
Never.
Like,
no.
So I mean, I think,
man. Okay, now that I'm okay. I did judge blue way too hard now, because now that I'm thinking about it, like black's got the one deck that's really good. But like, do you think that is Craig better than Urza?
I think we're gonna have to ask Aaron and Carson on that one because they used to battle it out all the time, like between those two decks. But like
they're just polar opposites. Like one is like I'm gonna fucking win fast, and the other one is like I'm gonna make sure that nobody has fun.
Well, both of them.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna make sure that nobody does anything. Sorry.
So
stacks versus fast.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that if we were gonna put the blue at the C minus, I think we also kind of had to put black at the
C minus.
C minus.
Okay, but then where is it? In front of blue or behind it?
I think it's behind.
Me
personally, I think that blue is still stronger than black.
I'm really eating my words here because I just said I'd rather play any of these other ones. Yeah, I guess you're right. Because I'm trying to think. Like I think Kirk is like the only way that you can really take a lot of advantage of. You have the extremely high life total, and you can really take advantage of the black.
Yeah.
But other than that, I guess okay. I agree with that. Damn, I was really harsh on blue. Sorry, blue.
All right, so we got 2 in C tier, 2 in F tier. So now we are on our 4th one for the monocolors, which is red.
Yes.
And you brought up some good points earlier before we started kind of getting into this. So do you want to explain yourself on red?
I think that as far as the monocolors go, red's like one of definitely the strongest in my opinion. But like it's got some powerhouses with like Magda's obviously the one that's carrying a ton of weight. But it's still like I feel like anytime the format shifts, you see a couple Godo decks get in there. And then I didn't think that the Mind Sculptors made a comment about that one time where they were like, it's just like anytime the format shifts for like, what is it, like standard or modern or whatever, like you have like just the mono red aggro.
Yeah.
It always like it shows up early and then it disappears again.
I think part of that though is like anytime there's a format shift or like a new set's released or things like that, like red always provides like really consistent cards across the format. Like if you look at like any of like the Faithless Looting type effects or like some of the rituals or things like that within our format. I mean, you have Underworld Breach and Will packages still within mono red that you can just like burn out the table somehow with that or mill everyone out or like things like that. Like I've experimented with mono red Urbrask before Jeweled Lotus, and not even like the odd one that flipped into the Saga. Like I was able to go off on like turn 3 or 4 with that, but I wouldn't say it's like super cEDH like viable. But yeah, I agree with you. Like whenever either the format shifts or like we're even looking at like Magda's still placing like really high in events. You brought up Godo.
Honestly, is there another monocolor deck in the top 10 right now besides red?
I don't think so.
Just Magda. I mean, I would be willing to put this in A tier if you really want me to be honest with you.
Just because of Magda?
Not even just because of Magda, because Godo still sinks in wins. You still have slicer decks. And I just think that, I don't know, like I'm sure that there's other red decks that are doing stuff that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. But like, I think that if you wanted to play a monocolor right now in cEDH, red's pretty powerful, and there's a damn good commander that you could be playing to.
I mean, it's good. I don't know. I think it's more B.
B?
Yeah.
Can we okay, I agreed with. I came from F to C with blue. Can we say like A minus?
My God. Yes.
That's a bright. Red is an A.
All right. And then finally, in our last color for the monocolors, we are at green.
Green. I personally think that mono green is better than mono blue. That is my opinion.
Really?
I think so. I mean, think about how popular Selvala, like the Bro Storm was. That deck fucking goes hard, dude.
Have you ever seen an Orcish Bowmaster?
Yeah.
That shuts down like almost all mono green decks.
Does it?
If you think about it, most of the dorks, any kind of ramp package, like.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, but I mean, Leo still kicks our ass with it.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people are going, besides Leo, going to events and playing a mono green deck?
How many people are going to? Okay, that's fair. Well,
I can't even really think. Like, I know that like Joel's trying to like put like Yeeson together and like.
Well,
I can't really think of anything else outside of those two.
Well,
and that's even within our local meta.
You have Yisan, you have Selvala. What is the other? There's another one. It's the... Oh, goodness. It's the one where whenever... I'm going to just draw a total blank here and just not remember it at all. It's another elf type deck, but you... I would have to Google it. I'm not going to do that right now.
Is it Marwyn? Are you thinking Marwyn?
Maybe, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I think that it gets, I don't know if it gets like +1/+1 counters and then you tap for the number of counters on it or something.
I don't remember what
I don't know. It is another
sounds right,
yeah.
I just think that, like, I think that if you were to, it's not going to be an easy thing to pilot. I'm not saying that. And I definitely agree with you. But I just think that, I don't know what I think. I don't know. I just think that I would rather be, if I had to pick one of them, obviously red's going to be the one that I would pick over any of them, but I still think that mono green probably would be, just because of some of the commanders that I can think of off the top of my head, they would be stronger right now.
I mean, maybe. I think that green is probably weaker than blue. Might be stronger than
You think
black.
Green as a color or green as a mono color?
I think as a monocolor, honestly, I think as a monocolor, I think this is more D tier than anything else.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like it gets shut down by the other three that we just listed. Between counter magic, burn, and being able to just ping shit off or kill spells.
But see, even like most of the gameplays and stuff that I see where people are just playing monocolor decks, I feel like the green decks end up doing just...
Yeah, but are you watching casual or cEDH?
cEDH.
Who?
Even Play to Win, their most popular video is who's the best monocolor commander in cEDH.
Oh, but
I've Selvala won twice.
But if we're looking at like in our format though.
Okay. Question then is, so
we're looking at in our format.
We need some EDH top 16 data. So is there a mono green? Okay, what pops up first if you're going through EDH top 16? Is it blue, like a mono blue deck, or would it be a mono green deck?
I would probably say mono blue.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we test that? Can we look it up?
No, that's cheating.
Is it?
Yeah, we might look it up at the end. But I think mono green's D.
Why D?
Because there's just too many things I think in a format that shut it down.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, why?
Especially Bowmaster. And this is coming from someone that plays green in most of their decks. You don't play green at all.
Yeah. It doesn't mean I like green. I just think that it's decent. Fuck. You think D tier?
I think D tier. What do you think?
I was thinking front of C tier.
Front of C.
I mean, okay, we can.
Well, that puts us right in the middle between the blue and the black.
Sultai.
Yeah, we just got Sultai. All of Sultai in C tier.
Do you think that that's where it goes? Or do you think that green is worse than mono black? I would rather play mono green than mono black.
I mean, I would too, but I think in our... it's not a matter of what it is that we would...
I'm saying that because when I say that, it's not that I would rather play it because I think that... I'm saying that because I think that it would have more success than the other one. I'm not saying I would play it because I prefer it.
Yeah.
I don't even like playing green.
So, I mean, if I'm putting it in D tier, that means that I do think it's worse than the black. Now, if you're putting it in C above the blue, that means it just averages out. We do put it in the middle.
We don't have to average if you don't think that that's right.
What do you mean?
Do you want to average it out?
Yeah, just average it out. It'd be fine.
Okay. Sorry, Carson. No, I'm just...
So, but yeah, I think green is probably more.
So that's how we rank our friends right now. Aaron, Leo, Carson.
No, absolutely not.
Cole at the top.
We haven't seen it in like months, I feel like.
Well, he's like full swing into baseball right now.
That is true. That's very true.
Okay. So, well, now we're on to the two color pairs.
Yeah. And
what do you call these? Shards?
No, these are I call them guilds.
Guilds.
Because they come from Ravnica. And there's 10 guilds in Ravnica.
See, I didn't know that.
And we went over this last week.
That's why I asked. I didn't know.
We've been through this. Come on. get with the program.
Guilds.
So, all right. So we are in our
Wait,
first one here.
Never
What?
mind. Yeah, shards and wedges, right? That's the 3 colors.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Guilds. Okay.
Yeah,
First,
I call them guilds.
first guild.
All right. So it looks like we're with Azorius. So we are in white and blue.
I think this is way better than the C tier.
You think so?
Oh yeah, with the stuff that we've got, like the options, Tameshi and Plagon both. I mean, I think that those are both way better than fucking Urza.
I mean, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you on it, but as far as like if I were to like pick up a deck and like pick from any of these combinations, knowing what cEDH is, I don't think I'd gravitate towards Azorius because I think it's typically a little bit weaker.
I would pick Azorius before I picked one of these other monocolor decks.
You would pick Azorius before you pick mono red.
Fuck no.
Okay,
No. But
that's my point.
I said above C.
I think it's at the top, like either in what eventually would be kind of the middle of the pack of C. I think it's above mono blue, but I don't think it's a B tier.
I think it's. Oh, you're saying front of C.
Yeah. Like like when we put it on here, if I had to put it on here by myself, it'd be at the front of C.
I can agree with that.
Okay, let's
we
put that
can
on.
agree with that.
Yeah.
So why don't you just tell me what you're thinking? We agree. More than you
I
think.
told you exactly what I'm thinking.
You did.
Oh my God. So, all right. So looks like we're putting that one at the front of C for the time being. Next one, we have Dimir. So we are in blue black.
This is pretty good. This is really good.
It is and it isn't.
Well,
right?
you don't really see a lot of just solo Dimir decks.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do in the top 10. There's one right now.
You see one, and it's because it's garbage. People love it because it's ninjas. That's it. That is it. That is it.
But I mean, it is still within. It's actually climbed a little bit since the last time we did a video of whatever the top meta is right now. But I mean, it's typically if you think Dimir out just decks and not looking at like the main wins in the format and the strongest color pairs that complement the other colors, like right now there's what Yuriko Italian kind of pops up from time to time still, but not a whole lot. What else do we really have outside of that? I know we did our video trying to, like, we put Garuda, and I think there was, I don't even remember right now.
That's actually a good point. There's
like,
really not a lot.
Yeah, there's not a lot of actual, like, solely, like, Dimir decks that are really at the front of our format right now.
We need to, so I think we need to regroup here real quick, because I think, I've got to think. Are we ranking the color? Like just the color in general?
I think we kind of had to do both. And I know that makes it a little bit harder, but like, if you think about it, like, and we'll get into this as we talk about these decks, but if we look at like TNT and we look at Blue Farm, the main two colors of those decks are blue and black. So those are the colors you're going for. Like even when you're building like the rock packages in both those decks, like you're prioritizing like a Talisman of Dominance over one of the off colors typically. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you're probably prioritizing the white and then whatever the fourth color is. Mm. So like, if you look at it from that standpoint, then yeah, Dimir is definitely one of the strongest, if not strongest, two color combination that we have. But then if you break it down a little bit farther and go, okay, what decks are just running that? We don't have a whole lot. And even those decks are no longer at the top of our, like, you can expand upon it. If you want to talk about Sultai and go into Glarb and like all these other things, like Dimir is still the base for it and probably deserves a higher than a C tier rating. But if we kind of combine that with the idea that there's not a lot of just standalone Dimir decks that like we have one in the top 10 and then the rest don't perform really well. Yeah. It kind of lowers it for me. Yeah. So I'm taking like a little bit of both into consideration for it. Yeah. Fuck. So because I'm torn now at that point. Because I think Dimir obviously is a color, like the colors together are great. But I keep thinking of it from the standpoint of like what commanders fall into that. And there's just not a lot of really good stuff that's just
Dimir.
Yeah.
Because you get so much more out of adding additional colors.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of I'm looking at it mainly from that commander perspective. I don't know where to put this.
I put B.
I would B.
Yeah.
B,
Because I think you made a good, like, as far as like, going back, like backtracking a little bit, talking about mono red, like you made a good case in point for that, and I agree with you on it. I don't think that mono red is an S tier color, but I think that you see a lot more success out of mono red decks than you do strictly Dimir decks within cEDH. Yeah. So
Magda has been consistently really good too. Now I know obviously that says more about Magda than maybe the color red, but I feel like they kind of have to go hand in hand. Like a lot of times in cEDH, the thing that's making the thing busted is the commander that you're choosing to pilot the deck anyway. So I feel like that has to carry a lot of weight in that. Yeah. And I mean, right now, like Yuriko obviously is just really good as far as like value Dimir stuff. But I mean, even like after that, I mean, even Talion has really fallen off hard.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. And on top of that, I forgot who it was that said this. It may have been a play to win. I can't remember if it was one of the like Dylan or Cam, but they were like, I don't want my commander to make me lose the game.
Right.
Whenever like, you resolve Thassa consult and you're like ready to win the game and somebody just casts a spell and then you hit your forced draw and you're like, fuck. So it's tough, man.
So you good with B on?
I'm good with B.
On that one? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's still a solid one, but I think that if we're kind of looking at this from multiple angles, I think that's kind of like right in the middle on things. All right. So our next color combination, we have black and red. So we are in Rakdos now.
Same thing. I'm kind of torn on this. I think Rakdos is... I think that there is like same thing, like one or two really good Rakdos commanders, and then after that it's like not even close. Like they just fall off hard.
Yeah, I mean, like what right now it's mostly Obnixilis and Rakdos the Muscle or like the primary ones. Yeah. You don't, and even kind of going back to what we talked about last week when we were making the pod compositions, like we included like Rowan and Cruelclaw, but at one point like, it's kind of like with some of the other colors we're going to be talking about. We're just kind of throwing things in there for the sake of trying to get like like what is the best of these two color combinations. Which I mean, Rowan performs well. It just doesn't seem like it's in our like U.S. meta. I think it's mostly like overseas in like Japan or even in some of the European cEDH, but not so much in the U.S. So I don't know. I've ran Obnixilis. I like Obnixilis.
I don't think he's in the top 10 right now, is he?
No. God, no.
So I'm going to say like probably, if I had to say something, I would say back of B.
Back of B?
Yeah. Or back of B, top of C. I don't care either one.
I think it's towards the top of C, but I don't know if it's better or worse than Azorius.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are we seeing? Are we seeing any like Azorius decks that are in the top 10 or like doing better than him? Like I don't think Plagon or any of them are they?
I don't really think so. So what do we have? We have Plagon, Tameshi. What are some other? We just did a video on these, so we should know this.
Lavinia. But we didn't end up going with Lavinia.
No, there's Grand Arbiter.
And then what was the other deck that we picked?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I just edited this video today. What the fuck? Hang on, it'll come to me.
I mean, if we went based off of that, like I remember being a little bit more excited to do the Rakdos one over the Azorius one, so maybe that's going to influence my decision. Let's just go ahead and put that at the top of C.
Top of C?
Yeah.
Rakdos, top of C?
Yeah, fuck it, let's do
I'm
that.
still lost. Whoops. Who are you, bitch?
There we go.
What was the other deck? I don't remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, shoot.
We'll figure it out whenever we start doing it.
Yeah.
A little bit more. So, all right. Our next color pair. We are in Gruul, so red and green. Where do you think this one fits?
Man, there's one deck that's good with this, in my opinion. That's it.
Really?
Just Atali. And Atali wins tournaments, but it's not really... There's been a lot of Atalis here recently doing really well in tournaments. I'm so torn, man, because like there's a difference between like people consistently putting up good results with a deck versus like just one-off tournaments and events. And I'm like, fuck, man, it's good. The deck is good, but is a color combo. I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know if I don't know. It would really just depend on whether I think Atali is better than. I still think that this together is better than the monocolor stuff. I would rather play it than the monocolor stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'd rather play Gruul over. Honestly, I'd rather play Gruul over both Rakdos and Azorius.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not
because I like big stompy dinosaur that makes everyone mill. So,
but the thing that I think that makes Atali good is the fact that you're not using your spells; you're using all the other colors.
Right.
So you're taking advantage of that fact.
Yeah.
But just like Gruul in general, fucking trash. Like I don't think that most of the other ones are that good. Like
no, not nearly as good at finishing things out as that deck. But I know I would rather play Gruul over most of the 2 color combinations that we've already talked about. But as far as looking at it, like from a cEDH perspective, like we're only talking about Atali right now. We're not talking about any of the other decks. Well, I think that's kind of the point there.
That's what I was going to say. Would you rather play Gruul or would you rather play Atali than the other 2? Because if you didn't get to play Atali, would you want to play any other Gruul deck?
No, God, no. So, I mean,
But I do agree with you because just like how Magda carried a ton of weight for red, I'm willing to let Atali carry a shit ton of weight for this. So it's really up to you. I don't know. Like, do you think that is Atali putting up more consistent numbers than something like Rakdos or
Plagon or Obnix List or something like that? That's something that I don't know. I'm probably not, honestly.
Do you want to sandwich them in between? I think it's probably putting up better results than Plagon. I think that I would be willing to say that it's probably doing a little bit better than Plagon. I don't know if it's doing better than Obnix. Obnix was like just probably outside of the top 10.
Okay.
You think that's right in the middle?
Sandwich them. In the middle.
Damn, dude, C tier carrying a lot of weight.
Well, yeah, but we haven't really gone into like the best stuff within our format just yet. So, but I think we're about to have one go into a new tier. At least I think would go into a new tier, and that is Selesnya.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're at green and white. And I say that I think that this would go into a new tier because I don't think it's dog shit F tier, but I don't think it's good enough to be in C tier. I know you play Sithis.
Sithis is not really like the big hitter right now anyways in Selesnya. I think it's really just Elevir. But is Elevir, same thing, is Elevir anywhere near top 10?
I don't think so. I think Elevir stacks is probably worse than Krieg.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think Elevir is probably better than Krieg.
You think so?
I think that Kirk has the ability to go fast, so it would beat an Elevir deck. But I think in a 4-person pod, I would think you would see the Elevir deck probably. Well, no, it would just get a draw every fucking game.
Plus, Stacks is just not in a good position. It's like really not good.
I've not really heard anything about Elevir. You would think that you would hear more about it simply because Dockside's gone, so it would have the advantage. But I've really not. I've actually heard less about it.
Right. No, and I agree. And I think it's because Stacks is not well positioned in the format right now, but that's why I'm putting that in D because it's better than colorless and mono white, and I don't think it's as good as the other things we've ranked on here so far.
I actually think I agree with you because we said white was dog shit and green was C, and so I mean it's
just right there in the middle. It's meant to be.
I agree.
Hey, guess what? Oh, so you're renaming it now?
Do you think we should just call it dog shit?
Yeah, go for it. Why not? All right.
Okay. Cool.
Probably people would be like, why is the D not dog shit? But, well, we're just going, no.
This could be like dog shit light.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think that I have a feeling our next one is going to be in the same category, though. So we are.
Fuck me. I'm willing to put it in the dog shit.
So the next color combination we're looking at is Orzhov. So we're in black and white. This is just like, I
would rather drop the white and just play mono black.
Yeah, like I don't. what puts up any kind of results within Orzhov? Is there anything?
Lotho just did really good at a couple of tournaments, but it's one guy doing it.
Yeah.
It's I think he's a good player. I don't think that Orzhov is good.
No, I don't think it is either.
I would say it's better than colorless, and that's it.
Like, you brought up like a good point, I think, a few weeks ago. Like, white provides a lot of protection, black provides a lot of the like tutors and ways to win and things like that, but you put them together and they can't do a fucking thing because there's not anything there. Like, there just isn't.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Heliod ballista stuff typically with like maybe within those colors.
I think that anytime I immediately think of Orzhov, I just immediately the only thing I can think of is Abdel Adrian. Like, that's just the Abdel Adrian, like Animate Dead or Necromancy.
Yeah.
That's the only thing my brain ever goes to. And even that combo has to have other stuff to make it work. You have to have some type of Blood Artist type of effect to help it.
Yeah.
So it immediately becomes like a 3-card combo. If that's not the case, then you have to have some way to like get a bunch of life gain off of it, which then it just becomes like a 4-card combo because you need the life gainer plus Necro. If you don't end up doing that, then all you end up doing is Abdel infinite tokens that do not have haste, so you have to go all the way around and then swing. And guess what? I've seen that happen. I watched a Diata deck. Actually, I take that back. I played against it. I played against a Diata deck who turn 2 literally made infinite tokens with Abdel Adrian, and they were like, I guess you have a turn to figure this out. And I was like, great, Toxic Deluge for 2, and then they just killed them, and they were like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
And then I killed them.
Yeah.
Like that. And then literally just, and it, like, it's just not good.
Well, and
now Diata's good, but
yeah, but
just
think about what you're talking about, though. You're not talking about an Orzhov commander. You're talking about a Mardu commander there.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to have the red to speed some of that out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, we can't, like, you can use an example for the Abdel Adrian, but, like, Orzhov, dog shit.
I think it's dog shit.
Is it at the top of it?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, so it's top of dog shit.
When's the last time? Well, yeah.
Don't do it.
We'll put it no, I was going to say, I was just debating on whether it was this way or this way.
No, no, I think it's at the top of dog shit. Alrighty then. So moving on, we are in Is It? So we're in blue and red.
I do think that this is kind of a weird one. This is like very consistent. Like Is It's got some really good stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I think it's at the top of B.
Top of B. I'm 100% agree. I don't have to say anything else.
Yeah.
I think with Ral, the Monsoon Mage, I think that him plus you have Kroxaka still kind of floating around there. Stella Lee still doing some Stella Lee stuff.
Got some fucking Niv Mizzet sometimes creeping in events.
It's insane, dude.
And things like that. So yeah, I think there's more there's more performing decks that we see across tournaments that are in just those two, and then Malcolm Kedis has also been a thing. So like there's more decks performing consistently in events in those color combinations than what we see in just Dimir.
Have you thought about that other Azorius commander yet?
Which one?
We couldn't think.
Oh no, I don't remember. We'll go back and look. Maybe. So, yeah, I think top of B tier. I think that's fine. I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
All right. Next one, we are at Golgari. So we are in green and black. I don't think it's good. We were trying to reach for things whenever we were putting last week's video together for the pods, and it was a struggle at times. I think it's better than Selesnya.
What's the best Golgari deck right now? Do you
Gitrog?
I don't think that's better than.
Would you say Gitrog is better than Elvir?
No.
Really? Okay. I don't know. Like, Golgari is just not positioned very well at all. Like, if you think about it, like, you have the Gitrog loops that loops with the charm, and then aside from that, you have like the Witherbloom Apprentice Chain of Smog stuff or the Professor Onyx Chain of Smog. But other than that, it doesn't present very great wins and takes a lot of steps. But for me, at least, if I was looking at that deck or those combos, at least there's more of a combo potential there. Whereas I feel like in Selesnya, you're just mostly going for beats, or at least that's been my experience with it.
I personally, yeah, I mean, dude, that's actually not okay. I do agree with that to an extent. I just think that, I feel like the amount of win. Okay, I think that Golgari has one very efficient win condition in it with the Chain of Smog with a Bloom Apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with that. But I think I will say I think that Selesnya requires you to have like a fuck ton of setup and stuff to it. But I don't know. I think that
I don't think it's as good as Mono Blue or
no. I think it's in D tier. I just don't know where. It's either I don't know, man. I think I would rather be playing Selesnya than Golgari. I don't even think that. What did we say? Gitrog. Gitrog's like the only thing that I can think of that's good. The other decks, like at least in Selesnya, we were with Selesnya, we were struggling to try and at least like get all of the ones that were making tournament events and stuff in there. With Golgari, I think we immediately had to go to EDH rec after Gitrog.
I mean, this is one I could honestly kind of care less about. I think that it's not positioned very well at all in the format. Now, that's not to say some of the other color combinations that have Golgari in it, but we aren't there yet. Hang tight with us.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere in D. It's not as bad as what Orzhov or the other dog shit ones are, but it's like somewhere floating within D. It's like Selesnya and Golgari are almost interchangeable at this point.
Mm. Dude, it really just comes down to whether Gitrog. When's the last time? Has Gitrog topped any events recently?
I don't know, but has Elvira recently?
Well, I've seen some Sithis tops, believe it or not.
So then maybe right now, yeah, Selesnya is better than Golgari.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm cool with this.
So
I'm cool with where this is at.
Cool. Next one. We're in Boros now, so red and white. There's only one real deck I can think of, and it's pretty much fallen off the face of the planet, right?
Yeah. Where? I don't know where to put this one. I was kind of, my first initial reaction was in between blue and green. I would rather.
I think that's fair. I was almost thinking between Gruul and Azorius.
In between Gruul and Azorius. See, I think that Plagon and all that stuff is better to be doing right now than Winota.
Okay, so
or even Tameshi.
If that's the case, like, I mean, maybe, but right now we're not seeing a whole lot. What else is there in Boros that we see?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I think that one was the hardest one. We threw.
Well, no, I mean there was a recent Zerta deck. That's the reason why we put Zerta in that pod.
We did put Zerta in there, and I do remember that. We immediately said Winota was like the best, like for sure. But other than that, we ended up throwing together like Rograk Arden, and we threw together. We were reaching hard. We were talking about like Karlak and like Veteran Soldier or something like that. Like
like
what did we end up settling on? We settled on something else.
I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. Don't even ask me those questions because I'm not going to remember.
It's okay. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. If anything, I mean, I'd rather play Mono Blue than.
I'm with you on that.
Okay. I think let's go with where you said like. Kind of the bottom, closer to the right there.
Here?
Yeah, right
okay,
there.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right, now this one's gonna be tough. I feel like we're at like we've gone through 9 of the 10. We're on the last one for the guilds, and this is like the powerhouse. I feel like of all. We might have some conflicting views on this one, but we're now in Simic colors. I mean, if we were to say that basically Magda carried Mono Red all the way up to A, I don't know. Like, I always really like Simic. And so, yeah, Kennen is being one of the top decks in the format. Like, it, for me, kind of pushes it into the S tier.
You think S tier?
Yeah.
I was gonna say front of A.
Front of A.
I think
It's like right there. I don't think it's going to be like at the top end of the S tier, but
oh, so you're saying like back towards the back end of S tier?
Yeah, because I feel like
Kennen's really damn good.
Kennen's really good, but it's the only thing that like is truly carrying Simic. Now there's the Tameo deck that I think has been starting to pick up here recently, and like. Well, when the bans first initially happened, that's the right reason why we put Pride of the Whole Clade in our list, because it won an event. But I mean, outside of that, what other Simic decks are even truly performing right now?
Nadu was stoned.
Wow, okay.
But he's gone, obviously. We can't use that. But other than Kennen, I don't know if Simic's broken or if Kennen's broken. Just like Magda's kind of broken. Dang, bro, I'm torn now because there's less Simic decks doing what Red's doing, but there's better Simic decks than Red decks. I'd be willing to put it in front of A. I don't quite think it goes in S.
All right, I'll settle with you on it, I guess.
If you don't agree with it, we don't have to.
No, I think that'd be fine. I think
that's fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Right around there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that was all of the guilds. How are you feeling about it so far?
I actually think that this is pretty solid.
It's pretty solid so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are going to get to this point in the video and go, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
They're going to get to the very first fucking thing where I was like, Red goes in A, and they're like, off.
But now now we're finally getting into some things that we are typically going to see though in cEDH, because like, you know, we're kind of reaching for all these different color combinations or even the monocolor decks, but in our format, like we're getting into the section that most of our format is built around, which is the 3 color combinations, the 4 colors, and finally the 5 color. Mm-hmm. So I think that this one, we're going to have a lot more consistency, I think, where we place things. That being said, our first one, we are looking at Esper colors. So white, blue, and black. I know where you probably want to put this.
Well, what's funny is deja vu, by the way. I figured you were going to say this. But this is obviously my favorite colors. But Esper gets so much stronger whenever you have like that additional color with it. It's just insane how much better it makes it. There's a lot of really good Esper decks popping up right now. That's the thing. I feel like Esper has the most consistent, super good decks like right now out of any color combo. But
it typically doesn't perform as well.
They're just not the strongest. Like you have things like Master of Keys that are still topping tournaments. You have things like Hashaton, which is dog shit, but somehow it's still doing really good. Marnius
has been like
insane.
The big one.
And I think the Gold Sabertooth has really helped with that, obviously. Yeah. And then Tivit
still pops up from time to time.
Yeah.
I still think Tivit could still potentially be one of the stronger decks by the end of the year. I'm gonna stand on that one. But like,
dude, I think Marnius, I mean, it's the same way. Like, people just continue to gravitate towards that deck. I really want to throw that deck together.
Marnius?
I had said forever ago that I was going to throw a list together, and then I just opted not to.
Well, hey, when we do the shards and wedges, if you don't play Zerg, play Marnius instead.
Well, and that's the thing, is I really don't even know if Zerg deserves to be
really for the top Esper ones.
Well, if you just think about, like, we just named 4 right there that are having the best showings.
That's true.
Zerg's dang good. I really do think that he's incredible. Just people are not on him right now, and a lot of people that are on him right now are experimenting with different stuff. He was kind of like an old head back in the day. It's kind of the same comment that I was making about the Abdel stuff, where like you got to go a whole turn cycle before you even get to do the Zer thing.
Yeah.
People are looking for stuff that you're getting to do immediately, like thinking like, I want to do this now. Or if I'm not getting to do the thing right now, then at least like Hashaton comes down and it enables some of your free stuff and things like that. So I still think that that's obviously like a big plus, but I don't know. Esper's got a lot of really, like I said, really good decks. They're just not, they're winning tournaments or they're not, they are, some of them are like doing really well. Like they're top 4ing tournaments consistently, especially right now, but they're not necessarily winning the tournaments. Mm-hmm. So I just don't know. I would be willing to say that Esper, don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. I don't think that it's as good as Simic. I would be willing to say it's either in front of red or it's behind.
I think it's behind red.
You think?
I think it's behind red right now. Yeah.
I think it's behind Magda, but I don't know if it's behind
That's
red.
probably the reason why I think that it's behind red right now.
Do you know if Tivit and all them, are they behind Magda right now?
Oh, yeah.
Are they?
I think Magda is sitting, I think, 9th. So I
thought Tivit was higher than that.
I don't think Tivit's in the top 10 right now.
Can we check the top 10?
Based on what we looked at earlier.
Did we look at it?
Whenever, before we start this. But I was looking at it by conversion rate, though. And even if you look at it from that standpoint,
you don't think
hold up. No, Marnius, I think, was having a higher conversion rate than Magda. I think it was like almost like 2nd or 3rd. Yeah, Marnius was putting up some fucking numbers.
Can we cheat real quick? Look?
You want to cheat?
I don't give a fuck.
My God.
Just, okay.
Can't go a single episode without pulling out the fucking laptop.
We started this one with the laptop.
Oh, man. All right, so if that was popularity within the past 6 months, 20, 60 plus, Magda is number 6 with Tivit at 8.
Look up conversion. Let's go off conversion.
So if we go based off conversion, and again,
what would do top cuts?
Oh, Heliod. This is blue-white Heliod. Whoops. So
you're right. Go to top cuts.
Magda, and then Hashton. Yeah, Hashton's kind of around the top as well. But if we went by conversion, Magda's still better than Hashton there. Within the past 3 months.
You said 60 plus
60 plus entries, 60 plus players, yes.
Fair enough.
And then even on popularity, Magda's 4th there. So
you think behind red?
And I almost even hate to say that because I'd rather play Esper than mono red. But I mean, if we go based off of that, we're looking at like the impact in the format or what just color or color combination is the best in our format right now, then that's probably what we're going off of. But I'm willing to put Esper in front of red because we just cheated to to find that. So
we're gonna cheat right now.
And now the laptop's going away forever. No more of that.
That never happened.
That never happened.
Because I edit the videos. I don't know. Where do you think? It's so weird, man. I don't know.
I think where it's creeping up, I think it's above red right now, but I don't think it's as good as Simic. Kennen is just too strong.
I don't think it's as good as Kennen. I think it's. I would say Esper colors are better than Simic colors, but they're not as good as Kennen.
Yeah.
So right now, if you're wanting to pick one, then pick Simic. So
yeah.
I would agree. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can do that. In between. Boop. Mimich. Okay.
All right. Now this is where it gets a little bit hairy, and I think we might have some conflicting views on this one. But our next 3-color combination is Grixis. So we have blue, black, and red.
I don't like playing Grixis, but I do acknowledge that like Grixis is good. I just think it is slowly getting less and less good as the format continues to get figured out.
You think so?
I just don't know what like Rogsai is just not putting up the numbers that it was originally.
It isn't, but it's. I mean, I think I made a comment on this a couple weeks ago, but even when we've done tier list or rankings or things like that before, like it's not just Rogsai. Like the Malcolm Vial Smasher deck is for some reason consistently putting up numbers as well. We've had the Krark Silas starting to pick up a little bit here and there. Like from time to time, we see like either an Anala or Kess or something like that. Not as consistently. In our local meta we do, but not so much like global meta perspective.
Yeah, I think Kess actually just top 4 at a tournament recently too.
I kind of think Grixis might end up being our first S tier. If I had to put it on there, I think it's one of our. I think it's our first.
Do you think Grixis is better than Simic?
Yeah.
You do think that?
Yeah, and I think that part of that is if we were to look at the meta, and even if we kind of went like, say, for example, something were to shift drastically again in the meta. I think I'd almost go back and use the argument that you made for mono red being so high because every single time there's new things or there's a shift in the meta, like red just always seems the best. And I think that we see a lot more decks performing consistently in Grixis color piles than we do in Simic color piles. Like Kennen, yes, but it's almost like the exception.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay.
So
I can agree with that. I do think that normally you see Grixis lists doing a little bit better than your Esper lists. And it kind of shows because, like, look where we put white and look where we put red. So,
right. So,
all
right. Moving on, we're dropping the blue this time, still in 3 colors. We're looking at Jund. So we're on black, red, and green. I have an idea of where I want to place this one, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
Well, I'd rather play Gruul than Jund.
I think I'd rather play almost anything in C now than Jund. I think it's probably like at the top of D.
You think it's at the top of D?
Yeah, because like think about it, the most played deck in Jund is Corvold, and it got shit on when the bans happened last year. Like people have continued to try to figure out that deck and do like more in Soul Trader loops with like Zulaport and like things like that. But Jund is just not what it used to be. And even with that being said, Jund wasn't necessarily the most prominent color combination. So I think it's probably at the top of D because I'd rather play it than what you doing, buddy? Renaming it Jundi.
Is that right? How do you spell Jund?
Yeah. Fair enough. Because I mean, we've played like 3 green decks there now. So yeah, I don't think it's positioned very well in the format. You don't see a whole lot of decks. Like if people are playing Jund stuff, I think it's more of like more at a casual table or it's some kind of janky homebrew. So yeah, I don't have high hopes on Jund. You got anything else on it?
No, I just think that I kind of agree with you. I think that one deck that has actually stood out a little bit here recently was where people were doing like the Rog Rayhan like deck, but it's not really doing hot either. It's like you said, it's just like, oh, let's try something different.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a good color pile to like experiment. There's some really strong stuff within it. I just don't think it's great.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather play something different. Speaking of playing something different that I would rather play, but I don't think it's good in cEDH. Let me lead off with that. We are now dropping the black and we are going into Naya. So we are at red, green, and white. Now, I personally like Naya more than Jund. And that's probably speaking more on like my background in playing in like standard whenever I was heavy into it like several years ago. I played like a lot of like Naya monster type builds with like the Theros sets and some of the Ravnica stuff. But in cEDH, you don't really see this one at all.
Yeah.
I know that you've recently played the Arden Tana deck for the channel.
Yeah.
But even that one is like super fringe and like you don't see a lot of people playing.
I think the only Naya deck that I see is Rocco.
Yeah, and that's a good argument. I think Rocco alone probably puts it a little bit like better than Jund itself. I'd rather play Rocco than anything else in Jund.
I think that Rocco is better than probably. If you want me to be honest with you, I think that Rocco and all this stuff would put it somewhere around Meow. Because Rocco's still.
I think it's better than the Boros. I don't know if it's better than Mono Blue though.
So you'd be willing to. So you would be willing to.
Yeah, I'd put it like right there.
Okay, I'm cool
Yeah.
with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah, because like again, that kind of we're talking about like an outlier for the color combinations, and we made the same case in point for Boros itself with Winota. But whenever we were going through and we've listed all the other ones, like we were able to kind of talk about some multiple ones within Mono Blue, Azorius, Gruul, Rakdos, things like that. Rocco is just the one that stands out within Naya, and it's a cool deck. It's fun, but it's not like that's the one thing that it does, I think. But it's definitely better than Jund. It's definitely better than dog shit. So yeah, I think we're moving on. Do you have anything else on Naya?
No.
All right, cool. So we're dropping the red now. We're adding the blue. We're going to Bant.
I think this is legit. Like, this is a legit color pair.
I really like Bant. I already told you earlier on in the year I want to play Derevi at some point.
I personally think that Derevi's been putting up some pretty decent showings.
Well,
recently.
even when we cheated just a little bit ago, I briefly saw. I think Derevi was like in the top 10s for some of the lists. There are things that we're looking at on that.
Yeah.
Now, at one point in time, it probably would have just been like Derevi's the only one, and kind of like how we've been talking about some of these outliers for the other stuff. But with that being said, there's also been like the Thrasios Yoshimaru deck that a lot of people have jumped on here recently.
Yes.
So, I mean, that one's been performing really, really well at most events. Now, this might be a little bit of spoilers because I think that we're talking about adding some videos throughout the week. And I might do a deck tech video on this commander, but the new Yuna Grand Summoner that's coming out of the Final Fantasy set, I think that's going to be a really solid, actual cEDH commander. And I think it's in one of the precons too. So, like, it's in Bant colors. It's really good. That might be like a commander I might look into seriously. But if we're... Those are like the three decks that kind of stand out to me, though, as far as like just strictly Bant.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else.
I personally think that, I don't know. I would say probably B tier, in my opinion.
I think that it is B tier. I think that it is in the middle of what we have.
You think it's in the middle?
I think it's better than Dimir. Personally, if we're looking at like kind of this combination of the different decks and then how well the color scheme does on their own, I think Bant is a little bit stronger than Dimir. Not because of the win cons, just as an overall color combination in the decks that are performing well for the time being. Mm-hmm. But I think that we've seen a lot more consistency within Izzet. That's why I would put it in the middle.
I agree with that. I actually think that, I agree with that. There's a lot of Izzet decks still right now running around too, so I definitely think that Izzet probably just kind of clinches that just a little bit. So I definitely can agree with that. Dude, I think that give it a little bit of time, especially with some of the new stuff coming out, it's going to be like a sleeper color combo that just like comes out of nowhere. But I think the thing that's dragging this up so much is that Yoshimaru Thrasios deck.
Yeah.
Which, if Thrasios keeps doing what he's doing, you may end up proving me wrong in that one video. I was like,
Thrasios is real good.
I was like, Timno's pretty good. You were like, I don't know.
I'll die on that hill. All right. I think we're moving on now. So we are now on Abzan. So white, black, and green.
This sucks.
Yeah. I think it's down there with Jund. I think Jund is like slightly better than Abzan.
I would even be willing to play, I'm not going to lie to you, I would be willing to play Celestia before I'd play Jund.
Really? Fuck it. Let's just put it right there in the middle between the two. Yeah. Because I can't, and we talked about this even before we recorded tonight. Like, there's, and we talked about it with Get Rog just a little bit ago, but like, what are the good...
Just time.
Huh?
Just time.
Like, just Time at the moment. And don't get me wrong, Time is putting up some like decent numbers, because I think it's kind of proven us wrong when we've gone through and either try to rate things before, things like that. It's like pretty close to the top 10 pretty consistently. Damn. But I think where it does fall off is that it's another stacks deck. And even if we just looked at Tyam, stacks isn't positioned the best in the format. And then that is the outlier for Abzan.
Does that mean that we got to move it up, though? Because we moved up fucking Naya because of Rocco.
It's already on there. No turning back now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's locked in. I don't,
because we could say C is for time. No, I'm just kidding.
But even with that said, like I think that even if
I'd be willing to move it to the front of D, just because of time.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move it to the front of D. Fine, it's staying in
D,
the D tier.
I'd still rather play Rocco than time. I just think
I would too. I think
people just want to.
I think Rocco performs better.
Yeah.
I think it, like, based on like conversion and things like that, I think that, or top cuts, I think Rocco performs better than Tyam.
I think you just have people that want to play stacks and they're like, I'm going to play stacks, damn it. And they just look at time as like the only viable option and they just continue to do it.
Probably. Yeah. I'd agree with you on that one. So moving on, we are now at Jeskai, which both of us really like.
I love this color combination.
I really like this color combination. Yeah. This is another one that I enjoyed during my time of Standard, but we are looking at cEDH. Now, if we look at overall decks, I know you've played Jeskai Ishai on the channel. I know the Narset deck pops up from time to time. Not the one that we built, the actual like extra turn, like OG Narset. Outside of that, what else are we seeing?
Well, there are some people that have put together, like, I saw an Arden Crom deck that was actually like, it was pretty neat.
Okay.
You just have, like, you can play Crom beats or you can just like go with Crom plan. It's not doing great, but I had seen where it was like doing something. Other than that, man, I mean, that's not a good argument though. Like, that's pretty trash.
Yeah.
I really can't think of anything. Like, what other color combinations allow you to? I literally don't know. Quark Ishai, like, you know, the first time I'd ever even heard of that deck was when I were watching the Critical. Like, that was it was like, oh yeah, Quark and Ishai. Like, I never once was like,
yeah.
Which, to be fair, that actually sounds kind of funny. Because, like, you just pump that deck full of counter spells and then run the token doublers and stuff like that in the deck. That might be a legit deck. I might look into that. That's pretty sick. But yeah, so I don't know. I think Jeskai is like pretty solid, but it just does not have any one deck that I could point to and it's like, you are the poster child for Jeskai.
I think with that being said, though, I would put it at the bottom of the band. I think I'd have it above everything else in C tier.
I don't know that I could put it above like Obnix.
I would, just because I think that, like, if we look at it just color combination wise and things that it can do, would you rather be trying to get there and like do one card win combo with like All Will Be One or Agatha Soul Cauldron and Walking Ballista, or would you want to go for one of the more consistent win conditions in our format through Intuition Gifts piles with like Savines and Underworld Breach and things like that?
Yeah.
Like, I think that we're going to find that it needs an extra color to push it into that S tier.
The problem that this runs into is just like mana acceleration, silence effects, win cons, and like protection. You just don't have the consistency. You drop black and you just, black is such, I mean, it just goes to show you, like, look, you just add the black.
Black, I mean, maybe I know earlier I said that a lot of people argue that blue is the strongest color in our format. Maybe it's just black.
Well,
maybe black is, but the mono black itself is not.
I think mono black itself is not as good simply because like the win cons are just not there. Like, you need something like Keurig to where you can generate just ridiculous amounts of mana and do just crazy broken stuff to be able to win.
Yeah.
But other than that, it doesn't really have great win conditions. I've tried to brew mono black commanders before and just not had any success with it. I don't know, man. I definitely think that black's just the consistency that it adds is just insane. I think that once you drop it and you lose it, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I think I'm okay with Jeskai being right there.
Yeah.
I would almost be willing, I'm not gonna lie to you. Now looking at the list, I would almost be willing to move Rakdos into the B tier. Cause like I think that Rakdos is still behind Jeskai, but like
But you would still think Rakdos is better than Gruul? If you're looking at like purely Ob Nixilis and like Atali basically between those two decks.
I think that Atali does better because again it gets to play Gruul, but then it plays every color.
So are you does that mean Atali by itself needs to be a 5-color commander then? Is that what you're implying here?
If Atali had blue, it would be busted.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that if we're looking at different decks within our format and what they can do and what these color combinations can do, I think that
you think Atali?
I think Jeskai has proven that it has a much more consistent like combos and ways of winning and protection than what Rakdos has to offer.
Okay. That's fair. Okay. I'm good with that. Okay. Now do you still think I won't backtrack. We're good.
Okay. All right. So we are on our next one. We are on Sultai now.
Do you think that this would be better than this?
Oh my goodness. Are you going back to that? We're past this. We're locked in.
Are you sure?
Yes, we're locked in.
Are you sure?
Yes, we're locked in.
Okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
What, dude,
We're good.
what are you doing?
Is that right?
I mean, they're both chunky boys.
Is that right? Is it no C?
Yeah, that looks right.
Chunky.
So, all right. Now back to what we were talking about. We're in Sultai. So we're in black, green, and blue.
Is there any other good Sultai commanders besides Glorb?
I mean, there's still Tevish Thras.
That deck sucks. That deck's so bad. I don't even acknowledge.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I think it's awful. Tevish is not something to be doing right now. If we get Jeweled Lotus back, yes. But until then,
I know it's not something to be doing, but I don't know. It is such an odd color pairing. Glarb is an odd deck in particular, but you still have access to Thassa's demonic stuff. You can even, we've used the Chain of Smog combo quite a bit. Already talking about some of these other ones. Like, you have the option for that. You can do some reanimate type stuff, I'm assuming, within it. Like, there's some interesting stuff you can do within Sultai.
I'm really just debating on whether I put it in front of or behind Dimir.
If you were to take Glarb out of the equation, where would you put it? Because I think here's my thought is I feel
like I can't take Glarb out of the equation though because we used Magda. I would rather play Yoshi Thras than Tevish Thras. So Bant's gonna stay in front. But if
I would almost. This is just me. Okay, if it weren't Glarb being in this color combination, I think I'd put it at the front of C.
I agree, but I feel like, again, man, we used Magda and Kinnan and some other like big Yuriko to really help carry Dimir. I feel like we gotta do that for Glarb. I would be willing to put it in front of Jeskai, but behind Dimir.
That works.
I think I'm okay with it. I think it's better than Jeskai. Wow, what are you gonna say? I haven't done it yet.
No, go ahead and put it in. I think as far as where it's performing right now in the meta, I think it's better than Jeskai. I just think that there needs to be something fucking nuts in Jeskai, and then it just shoots it straight to the top.
If Jeskai had a just bonkers commander all of a sudden,
yeah, I think that might be what it is. I think that with some of these, and like we could compare those two because we just put them right next to each other. Like Glarb is a bonkers commander, whereas with Jeskai you don't really have that. And I guess it kind of goes back to some of our philosophies on deck building and things like that. Like with Glarb, you're building around Glarb, and that's what has made the Sultai pile really good. And then when you go into Jeskai stuff, like, yeah, if you're going like Jeska Ishai, you're trying to go in heavy into that game plan for a combo. But if you go outside of that, you're just relying on the 99.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's fair.
I built that deck in a way to where it had to play around what the deck wanted to do, like the commanders. Because if you don't, then it's like, you're going to fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's bad. But I do like it. I think it's cool. Okay. Mardu.
Mardu. So we're red, white, and black. I can tell you where I think it's going to fall. And I think that's after Naya.
After Naya?
Yeah.
I think here recently, I think it'd probably be better than Naya.
You think so?
Well, because we've had
the main decks I can think of is like Dihada, Temna,
I didn't even think of
Kark Temna,
Kark Temna's
and
been huge. Diada's putting in work.
Jeska Temna. Those are like the main three that I can think of. So maybe. Well, no one's playing Rog Time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that on channel at some point, just so that way you see me. Okay, fine. Dargo Temna. Go back and watch that gameplay.
Please. Don't actually. I did bad. Did you see the comment where the guy was like, that hurt, like watching Blake misplay like that hurt my Magic playing soul? And then I responded and I said, as the Blake in this video, it also hurt my soul.
Oh, man, but it was funny. It was worth it.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so what do we think? Mardu. I do think that Mardu is better than Naya right now.
Do you think it's better than Mono Blue?
With those decks, yes. Not better than North.
Okay, so let me reevaluate this. Let me think about this for a second. I think that potentially it's probably in between Gruul and Azorius then.
Between Gruul and Azorius? I don't think it's better than Azorius.
Really?
Oh, do I think it's... Actually, I do think it's better than Azorius. I take that back. Yeah. Between Gruul and Azorius?
Yeah.
We can agree.
I think Chunky outperforms... Both Chunky boys outperform.
I still think that we should move Chunky
in
in front of Rakdos.
Oh, my goodness.
We don't have to.
You were so adamant about putting Rakdos at the front of it.
But then I thought about it more, and you're all right. Atali is just a Gruul 5-color deck.
It very much is. So, all right. Our next one that we have, our last one of the shards and the wedges, we are in Flub's colors with green, red, and blue being Timur.
I'm still listening.
So, I'm really conflicted on this one, okay? Because I love Flubs. And I know that everyone is just nutting over the Rog Thras deck right now. We have like 3 or 4 people at our local meta playing this deck right now. But I don't feel like it offers like a truly consistent, definitive win. Like, you've seen me play Flubs. Not the video that's potentially coming out for the channel. Not that one. But like on a regular basis, you see me play Flubs and you're just like, what the fuck is this deck trying to do? That's how I feel the last like several times I've played against Rog Thras at times. And I know it's a good deck. I know that it is. But I feel like it takes so many steps to get there. And like it takes... It like, especially like if you're like caught in a moment where like you don't really know what you should be going for with that deck, it's almost like you're gonna trip over yourself. Like there's so many different things, and then it's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna pass the turn. Like they take 20, 25, 30 different game actions, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm done. I didn't win here. So I know it's really strong. I know that it's one of the top decks in our format. I know I love Flubs, but I don't feel like I can rank Timur very high.
I don't know, man. I think that with Rog Thras,
like I'm willing to like, I say that I'm not willing to rank it very high, but I'm willing to rank it like at the back of A, almost.
I don't think it's doing better right now than is it consistent. Well, fuck, Rockthrash is doing really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's one of those color pies or color combinations where we're just looking at like one deck that's truly making it work in the format. And it's a solid deck. I have not as high hope in it as what most people do. So maybe that is skewing my thoughts on it. But I think overall,
I would be willing to put it at the back of A.
just because of where it's performed, because of Rockthrash.
Yeah.
That's the only, if it weren't for Rockthrash, yeah. I mean, I love flubs, but it's probably closer to Jund tier or the middle of C. That's where I kind of think at the moment, but that's just me.
I agree.
So, yeah, I think that finished out our shards and wedges on where we think the ranking is based on these colors in the format. Now we're moving on, and this is, I feel like, the bread and butter of the format. The 4 color combinations. And I know you said earlier, like, we were having a discussion about it. He's just like, I don't like playing 4 color decks.
I personally don't, but I don't think they're bad.
No. I mean, there are definitely 2 that stand out over the rest of them. But hey, they make up the most of our format right now. So let's start with the big one.
Okay, here I'm just gonna change the name of this real quick. Okay.
Farm.
No, that's a color, right?
Blue farm.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yep. No, right then.
But I mean, seriously, though, like, yeah, probably. So we're looking at blue farm colors. So we are in Sands green with white, blue, black, and red.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, that's the only real one though in the color pair, right?
Like, you're exactly right.
Like, well, okay, no, we can argue that the Friends Forever, the Stranger Things one, because it is also blue farm colors.
You're right,
and that one does pretty okay at times whenever you see it. But I think most people gravitate towards Timnachrom.
Yeah, there's other ways that you could technically get into this color combination. I just don't know that you would want to do it.
Yeah,
but there would be ways, like you could play, like, I don't know, like Ishai and like Vile Smasher.
And yeah, you could totally do it.
You should,
but it's not blue farm.
You shouldn't.
It's not blue farm at that point. It just isn't.
Yeah. I think that it's the best. I mean, it's the best deck.
Yeah,
it is.
It's the best deck in the format. Like,
it converts the best. It may not have as much.
I hate saying that, but I mean, it's the best deck in the format. Yeah. So.
It may not have the most popularity right now, but it's the best deck.
Yeah,
it converts better than any other deck. It has more top cuts. I mean, it just fucking kills.
Yeah,
that deck's so good. I just don't think we can put it anywhere else.
All right. Well,
I think it is the standard. Now, obviously, if Timna were to ever get banned, that color combination, I think, just disappears.
It's just dead.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that happens.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, there's not much debate on that one. I think blue farm is top of this. But moving on. Now we're looking at Sands white. So we're in blue, black, red, and green.
What would this is Thrasfile?
Yeah, this is Thrasfile. I actually really want to build a Thrasfile deck. Does that mean it's good? Probably not.
I think it's got some good.
It's got a lot of potential. I think. I just don't think anyone's cracked it.
You're correct.
You know, like that's the thing. Like, no one's really cracked. Now, if someone put that deck together and try to play it like how the Rog Thras deck plays, which is really hard to do because you have to have Rograk to enable most of that deck.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think it's a solid color pile, but as far as like how well it does in our format and things like that, I honestly think it's probably somewhere within C tier.
I was thinking C also.
Yeah, I think it's probably like maybe like right after the Boros. I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to gauge.
I think in front of Boros.
You think in front of Boros?
Yeah, just because the potential of it.
The fact that it plays Dimir colors is the thing that kind of raises it.
Yeah, I think that Thrasvile is better than Winota.
That I will agree with you on.
Are we cool with that?
Yeah, we're cool.
Okay.
All right, so now we are in Blood Pod colors. So we're in Sands Blue with having black, red, green, and white.
Mm.
Now, me personally, I'd rather play the Sands White deck than Blood Pod, but I'd almost say Blood Pod still pops up from time to time. It's not a S, A, or a B. I think it's just kind of right there in the middle of the pack, but it's just kind of like where.
Tana's just not good, dude. I don't know. This deck is. I know that this deck is like dope. I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
And as far as like Staxy decks go, I think that this is one of those Staxier builds that still allows you to get through to like a good win.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those that's kind of weird. Like I feel like stacks already, we're talking about that, is like not good to be doing right now. Anything to do with like shutting off creature like activated abilities, there's really not a lot of creatures that are activating abilities right now anyway.
Well, your dorks.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And so I do get that, but like they want to play dorks.
Yeah.
Or they should want to play dorks.
I think
if you don't want to shut off artifacts, because then it's a non-bow with your freaking whole burden club.
Here's the thing, okay? I think that this deck gets better the more you get off of the stacks plan.
I agree.
I think if you were trying to build like Blood Pod, but you're trying to do like more of like a super like turbo version of it and not trying to stacks out the board, you could probably just jam wins.
There is a deck called, like, whenever they so that was what they called it, and rather than Blood Pod, they called it Blood Farm. Mm-hmm. So rather than Blue Farm, it was Blood Farm. That deck looked fucking sick. Yeah. And if I can go back and find the list for it, I'll send it to you. That deck looks sick.
And it's probably playing most of the same lines.
Probably.
Like Kiki Jiki stuff with Karmic and Felidar and like Dualcaster Mage or the Chain of Smog. Like it's probably playing really similar stuff. But I think everything in the format right now, because everything is such stuck in the mid-range hell, everyone's trying to find a way to get out of it. Yeah. Like either speed it up, and I mean, that's pretty much your only option, because your only other option after that is stacks out the board, and nobody wants that right now. Mm-hmm. So I think that it really depends on how you build the deck.
Yeah.
But as far as if we're looking at it from a perspective of like where it fits within this tier and like how it's doing currently in the meta, like that kind of ranking, maybe kind of right there where the Sands White deck.
I was actually going to say right between it and Naya.
Yeah.
You think that?
And that's exactly what I'm saying.
There we go. Yeah, perfect.
I think that's kind of where it's at right now.
We're in agreement here.
Yeah.
No, this is a cool color.
I really like this color combination too.
Dawnwaker Thras.
So we're in Sands Black now. So it looks like red, green, white, and blue. I like this color combination. I know you just mentioned the Dawnwaker Thrasios deck. I think that one's a sick. It's just a sick deck. You just don't see it a lot.
Yeah.
Now other commanders within this color pile, like at one point, like I built a cEDH version of like the 4-color Aragorn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I know it's not like anything that performs like super well, but I mean, that's a food chain deck. Yeah. You just like burn out the table with Squee and just you win that way pretty much. But like you don't see a lot outside of the Dawnwaker Thrasios build for this, which I think, honestly,
don't even really see that. Yeah,
you don't see it except for Ian.
I don't think he's playing it though.
He's not playing it right now. He just plays a bunch of off the wall shit.
I think he actually threw the list together whenever the format shifted, and he wasn't able to top 16 with
really,
which is kind of crazy considering he's him.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as where it's at and what we're looking at, we don't see a lot of it. Like, I'd rather play that over Boros, but I think it's kind of right there with The other two we just talked about.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Where do you think right there? Do you think it's on the backside?
I think it's on the backside of it.
That's fair.
Unfortunately, I
can
I like the color combination, but as far as we see more out of the other two, I think at times than we do that 4-color combination. Now we're on our last 4-color. Just put it where it needs to go. This is TNT, like green, white,
You think that's good?
blue, and black. Yeah, but we're just gonna automatically put that one as the second one for the S tier one.
TNT, Atraxa. I mean, there's lists that are fucking killing it right now.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's other ways of kind of building this color combination. Like I think there's a lot more flexibility in the build in the 99 technically or 98 technically. Like there's a lot more flexibility of what you can do versus what you could do in blue form. But I think that I don't know. I love this deck. I actually like this one more than blue form personally.
Yeah. This is something that I did find interesting. So me and you, like whenever we did one of our old videos, you were talking about how these two are kind of like good pile lists. Mm-hmm. And then you have the other way where it's like cEDH and like flubs and stuff like that, where you have to go heavier into like the plan. I kind of think that this is one of those that like splits the middle. Like you want to get like you have value engine in the zone, and then you have a value engine plus win con in the zone, technically. So you get the best of both worlds, where you get to play the good value stuff while kind of dipping your toes in the I'm going to play the Thrasios game plan.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I think that this color pile in particular, and because of Tymna Thrasios, like there's so many different ways you can build this deck. Like even right now, I'm trying like a different version of it where I'm trying to focus more on playing Gifts Ungiven in it and like focusing on the lines where it's like you could do like the Hazel's Devoted Noxious Revival Ewit package, or like there's some other like interchangeable things within that. And then how we've talked before on like the Thosses, Snapcaster, Reanimate, and Demonic Consultation, like that package as well through Gifts Ungiven. Like I'm trying that build out of it just to see if it's a little bit faster, and so far it has been. Whereas I've also played like trying to play Derevi and Emil, which is not typical of the US. That's like even after watching like cEDH TV, like Mons explained, like that's typically like a more European style of playing that deck. But I had a lot of fun with it, and actually presented like more instant speed win opportunities, because then you can like use Kennen as the backup commander and dig for Orcish Bowmaster and like just win on the spot that way. But that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of flexibility within those colors. There's not so much within the blue form colors, but blue form is still the best color combination in our format right now.
That leaves one.
The last one, the one that I probably know the best. We are finally at the 5-color. Now, here's the thing. Based off of, there's a lot of different factors whenever I say this. I think cEDH is still the best 5-color combination one. I, kind of going back to where, I guess, spoilers for the future of the channel, and I said, like, doing deck techs, I also have, on our Mox field, a deck for the new Terra Magical Adept that's 5 colors, so I'm excited about that, and hopefully we get some gameplay in with it. But I don't think 5 colors is necessarily positioned that great overall. Like cEDH is really good, but outside that, if you're trying to play more of a good stuff pile with 5 colors, you play Kenrith, and Kenrith isn't in a great position. We've talked about Najeela before, and it's like with Najeela, you have to go really hard one way or the other if you're going to go good stuff or into the Najeela plan. So there's a lot of flexibility within it, but a lot of people deck build for trying to do both, and it's just too much for the deck. And outside of that, like, yeah, we've seen the Seeka pop up a couple times, but not a whole lot. If I had to say right now, I honestly think 5-color is right behind Simic. I think that's where I would put it.
This is what I'm thinking here, and I want your opinion. I'm just going to do it. You tell me what you think. Because I disagreed with you earlier. You thinking that?
So you think, okay, so now you're thinking that Simic is S tier now?
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Simic would crawl into the S or no?
I think where you just placed it is, I think where you placed the 5 color is correct, but I think that you still have it behind Simic.
So you think Simic should still stay?
I think Simic still stays an A tier as if we're looking at an overall thing, but then we're also kind of saying here that literally just Kennen beats out all the other 5 color
colors.
commanders.
Okay.
But I think that's accurate.
Okay.
You know, so that's where I would put 5 color. That's me personally. Is I think that Simic stays within A tier as an overall color. Kennen is just the outlier to it.
Okay.
And then, but because of that, and because of where we are at in the format and how strong it is, it's stronger than what we have in 5 color combinations.
Okay. Interesting.
That's how I think, at least.
So this is the official tier list. This is
it.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
But I don't think those top 3 are a surprise at all. I think anyone like clicking on this video and they've made it this far going, we already knew that those were going to be the top 3. You damn right they were going to be the top 3, because that they've just, I think, even from the start of the year, after the going back to last year with the bans happened, or even here recently, whenever they just recently like unbanned things, I think those are the 3 color combinations that stick out the most within the cEDH meta. And then after that, everything else just kind of falls in its own category. And how we've kind of, as we've gone through this tonight, we've talked about like several like different outliers for different colors and things like that, and pushing the deck forward or pushing those color combinations ahead of everything else. But I think that this is pretty close to what we see. I hope. Tell us if we're wrong. Tell us if Mono Black's in S tier, or maybe like colorless is in S tier,
Well, what was it that we saw from like the official ranking ones or whatever, where people had voted? They said Naya was S tier.
Yeah, there was a community one in this tier maker. You can go on here and make your own on their website. But when we found this, like I think like colorless and Nile were like in the S tiers, and like I think all the 4 color combinations were in the D tier and all these other things. So we were not following that chart whatsoever. Right. But hey, if someone's out there really passionate about mono white and colorless and Orzhov, let us know.
You got anything else?
I ain't got shit. What do you got?
Go play some cEDH.